morning, guys. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back, and welcome to a new week. Happy Monday. I'm gonna bring you guys along for a couple days of my life, and I just wanted to say hello. I had a luxurious start to my morning with an eye mask and an ice roll moment because I was camping all weekend and I really needed the whole luxury experience after camping and sleeping in a tent for 2 nights, which obviously is not a long time, and it was great, but it just felt so good to sleep in my own bed last night and wake up in a bed and like have my coffee maker and just the whole thing. It just felt so good. So happy to be back. I find things like that are so nice to do because they're obviously really fun, but it also makes you really grateful for what you do have. Like even just little things like sleeping in your own bed with blankets and not being on the ground with a bunch of bugs. I do have a lot of mosquito bites right now, which I haven't got all summer though, so that's not very fun. But beside that, it was a great weekend and I'm ready to get into this new week. I'm ready to like get some shit done this week. Like I really want to be productive. Last week I feel like I was not as productive because I just had a really big weekend and I was feeling that all week. But this week, you know, we were camping, but I didn't really like drink that much or anything. So I kind of feel like rejuvenated now after a good night's sleep and ready to get into it. So let's do it. Let's get this Monday going. Okay guys, I am back from the coffee shop. I am drinking out of my new water bottle. I think I have a theme. Like I just gravitate toward like pink and purple things and also blue. But okay, did I need a new water bottle? No, but I don't have like a 40-ounce work from home handle like Stanley kind of vibe, and now I do. So I needed it and I've been drinking so much water. I'm so dehydrated from my camping trip, I don't know why. Me reading yesterday. I actually finished one book and started another, and this is my first ever, but hopefully not last, reading vlog because I've been like consuming a lot of reading content lately, and I've also been reading a lot lately. And this is my first week. Actually tomorrow we have our first like Toronto girls book club. It's not called that, it's just like the girlfriends that I have here in Toronto. We're doing a book club, but I'm also doing one in Nova Scotia when I go home in a couple of weeks. So this is the Toronto book club. Anyway, that's tomorrow night. And my week is just kind of full of reading. So I thought I would do a reading vlog. Sorry, I just had to close my door and then I moved positions a little bit. But I've just been finding reading content like super cozy and nice to consume lately. And it's definitely more like I'm hoping to do some in the fall and winter because I feel like that's like peak reading cozy vibes. But I've read a lot of summer specific books, so I kind of want to go over those and just kind of do a recap of everything I've read this summer. I've read I think like 9 or 10 books since like May, so beginning of summer-ish, and which I know is not like a crazy amount, but let's remember I have a full-time job. So I'm not reading as much as maybe some of these other book content people that is like, it's literally their job to read and review. That's not me. I read a pretty regular amount. I read on my lunch breaks, at dinner time, sometimes before bed, but usually I'm watching TV before bed, I'm not gonna lie. And lately I've been really enjoying reading when I wake up in the morning with my coffee instead of watching YouTube. I'll usually watch YouTube like while I work for the first couple of hours while I'm just like getting admin stuff done. Anyway, that's a breakdown on me. You didn't really need to know that, but those are the times I like to read right now, especially in the summer. I can sit outside, except for now it is officially wasp season and reading outside is a little bit stressful, I'm not gonna lie. Anywho, today it's actually the end of my workday, just logged off, and I need to run a couple of errands. Errands just so happen to be in the same vicinity as one of my favorite bookstores, which is Chapters/Indigo. I do love a good local bookstore, independent bookshop, but the one that I go to that's near me or near-ish me is actually closed, or it closes in 15 minutes. I'm not gonna make it there in time. So we're gonna go to Indigo today, and I'm so excited because Indigo is just amazing. It's just like, if I am feeling sad or down in the dumps, I will be going to Indigo and it will bring my mood right up. I love it there. It's like one of those mood boosting places for me, you know, just like any bookstore. But in Canada, if you're a Canadian girly, you get it. Indigo, Chapters, Kohl's. Well, actually Kohl's is kind of depressing, I'm not gonna lie, but Indigo, Chapters, amazing. Yeah, hopefully in the series, like I can make it a series and we can try out some more like independent bookshops in Toronto, because I know there's a lot of them. There's like ones that are like book and wine stores, coffee and bookshops, like so into that. Okay, sorry for the lighting. It's, what time is it? 8:40 and it's already getting really dark, but my apartment does get darker in here before it gets dark outside. But anyway, I was just reading outside, eating dinner like I did last night. Didn't think you guys needed to see that again. Anyway, I was just like looking, I was on Goodreads the other day and I've been reading so many summer romances and I feel like I want another couple of summer books, like I said, to like finish out the season, because I'm really enjoying reading like in the season that I'm in. But yeah, I just don't think I can do another romance. I've been loving them, but I just need a break. I'm reading The Midnight Feast and I'm 18% of the way in right now, so I'm still very, very new. And I'm not confused, I'm just not hooked yet. Like, I'm enjoying it and I want to keep reading, but there's so many points of view that I'm not like sold on anyone yet, or like honestly I have no idea what's going on. But it's interesting and it's intriguing enough for me to want to continue reading and to continue to pick it up and everything. I need to actually turn that light off because it's starting to like be too aggressive. But yeah, it's by Lucy Foley, who wrote The Guest List, and I remember liking that, but I also remember thinking there were a lot of points of view and a lot of characters in the mix in that one as well, so maybe that's just kind of her style. And I also need to get over this because like it is 2024, so some books are going to be more with the times, but every time I read a book and they like mention like TikTok and Instagram and Reels and influencers and all of that, I find it like, I don't know, it like rubs me the wrong way. But I get it, like now when people are writing books now, like they're going to include those things, but maybe I just need to read books that aren't like as new, because it's, I don't know, it just like kind of makes me feel weird. But anyway, I'm gonna keep reading this for the rest of the evening and chilling, maybe play a little bit of reading music like I did last night and just read until I don't feel like reading anymore, maybe watch a little show and then go to sleep early, hopefully, because I have an early morning tomorrow. Hey, hi guys, welcome to this portion of the video. Things have definitely taken a little bit of a turn. I really wanted to bring you to our book club yesterday, but one of my friends got sick, so we had to postpone it, and I didn't want to postpone this video, so I still wanted to go over all of my books and my book things. I have everything written down, so I'm just gonna like look down, but I also have some of the books that I've read in person with me, and then I also have my Kindle, because I read a lot of my books on my Kindle. Honestly, this thing is dangerous. It's just so easy to like be like, buy, purchase next one, spend $15 here, $20 there. Like, it's an expensive habit, but it doesn't have to be. You can get a library card, and I need to do that. So I was actually looking into it, but you can't, at least the library like near, or like the library in Ontario, I can't get those books on my Kindle apparently, which seems crazy, but anyway, I'll find a way. By the way, if you guys do not like books and you don't want to hear me talk about books, I will be doing so for the next insert time on screen. So skip ahead or skip the rest of this video, because I think the rest of it is just going to be me mainly chatting. I mean, this whole vlog is a book vlog because I'm so into those right now. I'm so into like listening to people talk about reading. I'm so into reading. I'm so into all of the whole book thing, especially going into fall. It's gonna be so exciting. But anyway, I don't want to talk for too long, so I'm just gonna get hopefully right into it. I'm just trying to pull up my list that I have. So like I said, I think earlier in the video, I'm gonna go over all the books that I have read so far this summer. And for me, that means from May until now. And right now it's the middle of August. So we're just gonna go over all the books that I read, my ratings, and just kind of a little bit about all of them. So like I said, if you don't like books, then you're not gonna like this. Watch my next video, see me next week. I don't only do book stuff. This is my first time doing a book video, but I'm just so into it right now, so I thought I would lean in. And I brought you guys into my bed with me because I just thought, you know, this is the coziest place right now. It's the evening time now. I logged off of work. It's supposed to rain, so we're gonna have a cozy evening. So anyway, first book that because I was like really in a reading slump for a while, and I got back into it with this book, Funny Story by Emily Henry. I got the hardcover book. I'm pretty sure I spent like a ridiculous amount of money on this book because I bought it at an independent bookstore, and yeah, pretty sure it was quite expensive, but I am so down to spend money on things like books. Like, I will support you. I love supporting authors, and especially when it's an independent bookstore, like things like music, like art, things that are creative, like I am okay with spending money on that stuff. So anyway, don't come for me. I did spend a lot of money on this book, and I'm so happy to have it. It's such a beautiful little like hardcover book, and someday I want a massive library in a house that I own. Someday in the future. That's a dream of mine. But anyway, let's get into it. I read Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I love the way Emily Henry writes. I'm really particular about the way that people write, and not in like a snobby way. Like, I have no leg to stand on whatsoever. I just have a certain way that I like writing to feel and make me feel, and certain books, like I'm just gonna say it, I don't love Colleen Hoover. I don't love her writing. I can appreciate some of her books. I know that a lot of people really love her. I did not love her writing. I really don't like, although this is gonna be contradictory, because I really don't like when there's like a lot of errors in a book, obviously, because I'm like, did nobody edit this? But I also love finding errors in books because I'm like, oh my god, no one found this except for me. I do love that stuff. But yeah, I'm like really particular about the way, not that it has to be like, I haven't read any of the classics. I don't know if I could, like, I don't know if I would, not that I couldn't, I'm not, like, I can read, but I don't know if I would enjoy them. So let me know if you guys are like readers, if you think like after this, if you think we have some similar taste in books. If you've read any of the classics, like I've never read Pride and Prejudice or Emma by Jane Austen. I've never read any of those books, so if you think that I would enjoy them, like, I think it would be nice to try to read some of the classics. But anyway, this is a long tangent for absolutely no reason. All I want to say is I do really like the way Emily Henry writes, and I specifically like the way she writes about relationships, and not just like romantic relationships, but friendships and family relationships. So Happy Place is like, I absolutely loved that book. This did not compare to Happy Place for me. Like, I didn't like it as much as that, but I did really like it. I just like liked the characters. I felt connected to them. I thought it was a really cute story. I definitely thought it was like very predictable, but in like a cozy, easy to read way. So I definitely, if you like a good old-fashioned cozy cutesy rom-com, but with like an elevated writing style and an emphasis on relationships in your life, not just romantic, then I think Emily Henry is definitely someone you should pick up if you haven't read her books. But I highly suggest starting with Happy Place. I've read a lot of Emily Henry books now just because, like I said, I really like the way she writes, and I really liked that. I did. So Funny Story I gave 4.5 stars, which is very generous. I need to say this, my ratings of books are honestly so all over the place. Like, you know, I compare it to when I ask for a receipt at a store. It comes out of nowhere and it's based purely on vibes that day. So sometimes, like, these are subject to change, so don't hold me to them. But when I read that, and I still think about it, and I definitely like remember the characters and stuff, I needed to lean back, but I'm gonna stand firm on my 4.5 rating. Oh my god, is that dog okay? Can you guys hear that? Jesus Christ, I hope it's okay. So anyway, I'm gonna give like a quick synopsis of all these books just so that you guys can have an understanding of what they're all about. But so Funny Story was about a girl who, and I'm not gonna give any spoilers, so this is a spoiler-free book video, but it's about a girl who finds out that her husband, or her fiance, is leaving her for his girl best friend, and she moves in with this new guy, and it's kind of like the whole story of getting over that breakup and finding your own way after being in a relationship that kind of defined you, and making new relationships along the way. So that's all I'm gonna say, but it was really good, and I just really liked the way that she wrote these relationships and the trials and tribulations of like getting out of a long-term relationship. So thought it was really cute. Definitely recommend that book if you want like an easy read. And then next I read, so Lisa Jewell, I would say, is one of my favorite thriller, psychological thriller authors of all time. I devour her books. Like, I absolutely love her writing. It usually grips you right at the beginning. You want to know everything. I loved The Family Upstairs. I've loved most of Lisa Jewell's books. This one wasn't like an all-time favorite for me. I just found it kind of fell a little bit flat. Like, nothing really happened, and it was very predictable again. Like, same kind of theme. But it was like a good summer thriller, and it was interesting. It just wasn't like as gripping as her other books, but I love Lisa Jewell. So I did rate that one 3 stars. I would say I'm between 3 and 3.5, but I think like I highly recommend Lisa Jewell as an author and her writing. Like, I think you guys should. I have like a long list of books by her that you should read, and I'll leave some of them down below. Wouldn't start with this one, but I really, really did like it. And I've also heard that none of this is true. The book that she wrote that's like about that podcaster, that's becoming a show or a movie, which I think would be really good. Like, it would definitely be a good premise for a show or movie. So that book was about a family, like a mom and 2 daughters that move into this like communal living space in London. I also love a book that's based in the UK just because I'm biased, but they live in this like communal living space, and it's like kind of weird, and like weird shit happens, and the dad had some like mental health problems, and there was just a lot of things that go on that are like a little bit spooky in this communal living space. And it starts off with you finding out that the 13-year-old daughter of this woman is found unconscious in like the middle of the garden somewhere. So then you're kind of trying to like unravel all of these different storylines and just kind of trying to figure out what happened to her. But it felt like the ending just like, it felt rushed. That's all I'm gonna say. But not a bad book. Love Lisa Jewell as a whole. She's like one of my favorite thriller authors. And then what was next? Oh, then I started reading on my Kindle, because I was like, you know what? It's a lot easier to read on my Kindle, like outside. I can like put it in my little, it's just like easier when you're like eating, because I started to really enjoy reading when I was like eating my lunch and my dinner, and like in the mornings with my coffee. It's just easier to be hands-free with this thing, you know? So I started reading on my Kindle, and I've been absolutely loving it. And it's nice because you can read it at nighttime, like it has the light on it. I love a physical book, and if I really, really love a book and I read it on my Kindle, I will buy it as a trophy for my bookshelf. So my first Kindle book of the summer was Just for the Summer by Jimenez, and I was hearing so much about her writing, and everyone was raving about it, and I was kind of just like, you know what, I want to indulge in an easy summer rom-com light read, and that's just what this was. I really, really liked Jimenez's writing. I thought the story was really cute. It's about a girl and a guy who both feel like they have this curse of never being able to stay in a long-term relationship, and as soon as they end their long-term relationships, the person they were with finds the love of their lives. And they both kind of found each other on Reddit, which was kind of like a unique storyline, and it's just kind of about their lives and their issues, and it's a rom-com, it's a summer read, but it was really, really cute, and I rated that one 3.5. So like I said, these are based on vibes. I just rated them like how I was feeling in the moment, and sometimes I do go and change them after I reflect, especially if I was like, oh wow, like I've been thinking about those characters, or I missed that book, or sometimes I'll rate it really highly and then be like, actually, did I really love it that much? And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I go on Goodreads and I'm like, oh my god, I'm kind of embarrassed by my rating because everyone else hated this, or everyone else loved this and I hated it. So I try not to like look at the ratings until I've actually rated it and like thought about it in my head, which for no reason, like it literally doesn't matter, it's not that deep, but I'm just like really into the whole book lifestyle now. And then on my Kindle was another book. It was Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. Again, my first Carley Fortune book. I was really like, people were giving a lot of suggestions on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, and I was eating them up. I was like, okay, this is highly recommended, I will read it. Download, bought immediately. And this was another one. I actually really liked this book. I did rate it 3.75. I think 3.75 or 4 is where I would like stand. This was a story of a girl who, it was like a classic summer, like they go to a cottage, and I feel like Carley Fortune's writing is really interesting because it's Canadian based for the most part, and that is like, you don't see that a lot because, you know, most books are based in like New York or London or like big cities. And I love a little Canadian book. It's about a story of two people who met when they were young and they had a falling out for whatever reason, and you kind of go through the story from past and present, and then it catches up to present, and it's about relationships, like all these rom-coms, and just kind of like forgiveness and love and grief and loss, and it's cute. It's a good book. It has like a lot of good themes in it, and I really enjoyed that book. And then I read an older book by Emily Henry, but I was just like, I feel like reading an easy summer read, and I love Emily Henry, so I finally read Beach Read, which I've never read before. And it was actually based on the title, like Beach Read. It was nothing like I was expecting. I went in blind, like didn't read the synopsis or anything, but I was like, love Emily Henry, I'm sure I'm gonna love the book. And I did really like the book. It was actually like quite an interesting story for a rom-com. It was like these two writers. I also love that. I love in a book when they are writers or publicists. They work for like a publishing company. Like I eat that shit up, because I think in another life I would like to do that. Like I would love to be a writer or in the publishing world. Maybe in this life, who knows? But anyway, I'm always really interested in that storyline because I want it for myself, and I just think it's like really cool. So anyway, two writers, and they both are like kind of rivals in they went to school together, but they didn't really know each other very well, didn't get along, and they both write very different genres of books, and they end up living right next to each other for a summer, and they kind of make a challenge with one another to write in each other's genres. Like, so she writes more like women fiction, rom-com, and he writes more like, I don't know, even like sci-fi, horror, that type of thing. And they, or not even, but just like general fiction. And they make like a little challenge, and they have to write each other's genres, and it's just kind of like the back and forth. There's good banter, there's good writing. Again, she just writes relationships so well. So I really liked that, and I gave that one a 4-star. No, I gave that one a 3.75. Then I was on my Kindle still, and I read another Carley Fortune book. I read This Summer Will Be Different, which I think I skipped one of hers in the middle. Like I think she wrote, I was trying to read all of her books, and then I read this one because it was the most recent one. But it was about, I loved this one because it was about PEI. You never see books in the Maritimes. I just thought it was so cute. It was such a cute little storyline. I mean, it wasn't like revolutionary or life-changing by any means, but I liked the writing. I loved the characters. It was actually based in Toronto and PEI. Like the character went back to PEI for the summers, and she had like a little relationship with her best friend's brother, and then it was just like never allowed to happen again, and there was all these different things that were going on, and it just kind of had all these elements that felt very like, I resonated a lot with the characters. And I thought, and I feel like that's just the way she goes sometimes, you know, like if you really don't resonate with the characters in a book at all, that's going to paint your judgment, and that's going to like sway how you feel about a book. I mean, it depends on the genre, but anyway, I really liked it. I just thought it like felt close to home, and it felt really sweet. I love PEI. I have a soft spot in my heart for PEI. Obviously it's very close to Nova Scotia, but I also used to play hockey there. I have a lot of friends from there, and it's just such a lovely island. So if anyone's watching this and they have never visited PEI, Prince Edward Island, if you don't know, you have to go visit. It's gorgeous. I mean, I think also you have to visit Nova Scotia if you've never been, but do a tour of the Maritimes. Anyway, really cute book, highly recommend. Summer's still here, so you still have time, and I think it's just a really sweet book. So definitely an easy read, and I really liked her writing. And then you guys, we go on to my book club book for my friends at home. So my Nova Scotia book club. I have 2 on the go right now. One in Toronto, which I'll talk about that book, and then one in Nova Scotia, which we're meeting at the end of this month. We read, which is a little bit of an older book, but we read Beautiful World, Where Are You? Which I'm pretty sure I've talked to you guys about in another video, just like in one of my videos saying I was reading it. I have some thoughts. I'm gonna leave my thoughts out. I'm gonna leave most of my thoughts out of this video because I want to talk about it with my girlfriends and my friends in book club, and a lot of them do watch my videos. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. But this was my first Sally Rooney book, and I have a lot of opinions about this. The writing, like I liked how it was no fluff, you know? It was just like normal ass people, which I really do want to read normal people. And now that I got through this book and came out on the other side, I think I would enjoy normal people. But this book, holy shit. Did anything happen in it? Like, has anyone read this book? I was so bored. Once I got halfway through, I was like, okay, I I can get on board a little bit here. Like, I'm enjoying it a little bit more, but it was a struggle for me to get through the first half. Like, I was like, nothing is happening. They're having these like weird email exchanges where like they're just talking about the most ridiculous things, and it felt really unnecessary. And also, there's no distinction between when someone's talking and when they're not. There's no quotation marks or anything. And I'm like, what is that choice? Like, why? Why are we doing that? Is it like a creative thing? I didn't know you had the liberty to do that. I thought in like, you know, the grammar world, you had to put quotation marks around when someone's speaking. It was kind of confusing in the beginning, but I guess that's just the way Sally Rooney writes. So I think it's like a Marmite thing. You either love it or you hate it. I was very hate in the beginning, and now I'm kind of like, okay, I can see where she's coming from, but I did not love this book, if you can't tell. I liked it, and there were parts of it that I appreciate, and there's a lot I want to talk about with my friends and like with my book club, just about like, what did you think about this person, or did you get this vibe from that person? Like this Felix guy, I don't understand how, like, but I think the way she writes is really beautiful and very like real and raw, and it really shows you like she's not romanticizing these people. Like there's a lot about most of the characters that I really, really did not like. Like I was like, oh my god, this person's so selfish, or they're so rude, like why are they saying those things? But it kind of is, that's kind of the whole point, I think, that they're real people and it's real life. So I did enjoy that aspect, but I did rate it a 2.5. Anyway, it's based in Dublin. I don't know if I said that, but I did like that aspect. I think I did say that. Okay, only 2 more, and then I'm gonna talk about the book I'm reading right now, and then we're done, so don't worry. I'm almost done yapping. But we read 7 Year Slip for my book club in Toronto. I haven't had the opportunity to talk about it with my friends yet and like get all of our thoughts and feelings out about it, but I did really enjoy this book, and it was different than what I was expecting. I kind of went in again a little bit blind. I just heard a lot about it, and I heard a lot of people talking about it, saying they really enjoyed it. Again, light, easy read, cute little rom-com with some other themes of like grief and loss and just like relationships in your life, but with a little bit of a twist of like time travel. I do think there were some holes in the plot. My friend and I were talking about this last night because I met up with her for ice cream, and she was like, she also read it for the book club, and we were just chatting a little bit about it, but saving most of our thoughts for the book club. But yeah, there was a couple holes in the plot, but I really did like the way she wrote, and I felt really connected to the characters. I really liked them. Again, the main character works in publishing, and the like main guy was a chef, which I also love that trope as well. And it was just interesting. It was like a unique storyline for a little rom-com, and it had some like good themes in it, and I like continued to want to pick this book up. Like every time I wasn't reading it, I was like, oh, I can't wait to eat dinner and read my book. So I did really enjoy this, and for that reason I gave it a 4-star, because I enjoyed it. And I kind of think that's the whole point of, you know, reading, is that you're enjoying it, you're having a good time, or it's like teaching you something or giving you a new perspective. Like I definitely would like to start reading some more like thought-provoking books as well, but I love a good easy like fiction. So yeah, I will take all the book recommendations down below, but I'm like, I'm open to trying a lot of different things, but I'm very, very new to fantasy. Like by new, I mean I have not really read any fantasy, and I don't know how much of it I would like, so tread lightly with that one. But down for, I don't like self-help books, so don't recommend self-help books, thank you. Other than that, I would love to hear all of your recommendations, and I will add them to my long TBR list. Finally, before we get on to the one that I'm reading right now, I read The Summer Pact, because I was like, oh, everyone's talking about this. Emily Giffin, I'm seeing it all over Instagram and TikTok. It's a summer book, The Summer Pact. No, I was bamboozled. It is not about the summer. It is about a girl named Summer, or like the name of it is The Summer Pact because a character in the book is named Summer. There are some trigger warnings, like they talk about some stuff that maybe people wouldn't expect in a summer read. So look up your trigger warnings before you read it. I personally did not like this book. I don't get the hype. I thought her writing was a little bit like, I don't know, I just didn't love it. I've never read any of her other books, so I would like to maybe give it another go, because people are raving about her and raving about her writing and stuff. I did not like this book. I hated all of the characters, and I didn't like, it just sucks when you read a book and you're like, none of these characters, I'm not rooting for anyone. Like they all suck in their own way. And I know, again, it's like real life, but some of the stuff they were doing was just so selfish. I didn't connect at all to that book, and I just like did not enjoy it, and I felt a little bamboozled that it wasn't actually about the summer, but it was just about a girl named Summer. I don't know. Maybe I should just like read more into books before I read them. Like read more into what the book's about. But I like going in blind, because then I'm not like, I have no judgment, and if I really hate a book, I will DNF it, but usually I want to finish. Like, usually I don't hate a book enough. Like, I didn't hate this. I rated it 2 stars, but I just didn't like love it. I wasn't like super excited to pick it up. I was just kind of like, I'll finish this book. It's a summer read. I want to know what's gonna happen enough to finish it, but I didn't love it. So yeah, that one was 2 stars for me. Let me know how you guys felt about it. If you guys have read any of these books, I would love to know if you like agree, disagree, feel differently about any of like the ratings that I've given or anything like that. I just want to be chatting about books all the time right now. That's why I'm in 2 book clubs, and I would love to join more. We can do a virtual one maybe. Like, I just am loving books right now, and I'm so excited to go into the fall and have it like even more cozy. I'm just so excited. So yeah, those are all the books that I've read since May. Not a crazy amount. I've just started getting back into reading. I do also, you know, work full-time and have a lot of other stuff on the go. So I read when I have the time. I'm really, really enjoying it right now. And I'm looking and open to trying new, different genres and different books, and like maybe your favorites from some of these authors or authors that you think are similar. But like I've talked about earlier in the video, I am reading The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley right now, and I've read one of her other books, The Guest List. Enjoyed that. I'm enjoying this, but I'm feeling like there's an element to it that I'm not going to enjoy. Like, if my inkling is correct, it's gonna be like a little too far from reality for me to enjoy. That's why I have a hard time thinking I would enjoy fantasy, because I love like a thriller, a good twist, a good mystery, crime, whatever. I love when they throw something in and it just like completely shocks you. But when something is like so out of the realm of possibility, I have a hard time being like, yeah, that was a good twist, or that was a good book, or I like really enjoyed that, because I'm like, but then I know that's the point. Like, some people like to read because it's so far from reality that it has like nothing to do with the truth or nothing to do with real life. So I don't know. Like, I love, for example, I loved Stranger Things, the show, but like for some reason, and I really like Harry Potter, and like I like magic, like a little touch of magic, and even like with the 7-year slip, there's a little time travel in there. It's obviously not realistic. I enjoy that. I think it's like cool and different and fun and like a different world to go into. But then sometimes when something's like everything about the book is real life and it's not like a mythical or magical world that they're writing in, and it's like real life, but then something like super unrealistic happens in it, and I'm like, that 2 + 2 isn't equaling 4. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I mean right now because I'm being really vague and like cryptic, but I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I'm just like, I'm unsure how I'm gonna feel about this book. But so far I like the writing and I like want to know what's happening, but there's so many points of view also that I'm like, well, who am I reading again? Like, I have to like go back and be like, oh, this is Owen's point of view. Like, it's kind of a lot, and there's like, it goes between like before a certain event, right after a certain event, and then 10 years prior to the event as well, or like 15 years prior. So it's kind of like all over the place right now, but I am only 50%. No, actually, let me check. I'm only 44% of the way in, so there's still lots to go, and I could change my tune very easily within the next 56% of the book, but we will see. I'll keep you guys updated with this one, but for now, I'm gonna love you and leave you, as if I didn't just talk for 30 minutes straight. But thank you guys so much for coming along for my little book chat. I think I'll bring you guys along for the rest of my evening, so I'm gonna read a little bit. I won't finish it, I don't think tonight, but I'm gonna read a little bit, like light my candle. It's gonna be raining, I think, and just have like a cozy night in. So I'll bring you for the rest of my evening, maybe give you more of my thoughts if anything like crazy happens in this book. But yeah, that's my book chat for now. I did actually want to tell you guys what's on my TBR, so maybe you guys can help me add to it or pick one. I have a lot on the list, and it is still summer, so I don't think I'm ready to like dive deep into like a fantasy world or anything yet, but I am gonna, we have to pick a new book for my Toronto book club, and my friend and I are gonna suggest The Great Alone. So hopefully we do that one, because I've been really wanting to read that Kristen Hanna book. So that's also on my TBR, but like my book club books and my personal books are different, you know, because those ones I'm like, I want to read them, but I also have to read them so I can chat about them with my friends, whereas I like to have like another one on the go when I'm done. And I really want to read House of Glass by Sarah P something, Pekkanen or something. Never read anything by her, but I've been seeing a lot about it, so I really want to read that one. Let me know if you guys have. I think it's like a pretty new release, so let me know if you have read it or if it's on your TBR, or what else I should add to my TBR. So I have a long list of books now, which is really exciting. I'm loving it right now, just vibing. So anyway, I'm gonna leave you for now, but thank you guys so much for listening to me blab and yap on about books for the last however long.